In August of 1993, a group of 7 Kazakhstani hikers set out on a 6-day trek through southern Siberia's Khamar-Daban mountain range. Just days later, kayakers found one of them barely alive by a riverbank, the sole survivor of a mysterious and deadly ordeal. The survivor's story stunned the world. On the 4th day, one hiker suddenly fell ill, foaming at the mouth and bleeding from his eyes and ears. When others rushed to help, they too exhibited the same terrifying symptoms. Before Valentina could grasp what was happening, she was the only one left standing. Welcome to Mystery Theories. I'm West, and tonight with my co-host CJ, we'll examine the theories surrounding the Khamar-Daban Incident. In the end, you'll have the chance to cast your vote and decide which is the most convincing mystery theory. All right, action, roles, everyone get into character. A lot of people don't know that we actually do characters on this show. In real life, CJ and I actually, we hate it, we despise each other, but we put aside our grievances.
Our mutual hatred.
Our mutual hatred for this immensely successful YouTube channel.
Yeah, this one that's making us millions upon millions of dollars.
CJ, do you hike? Are you a hiker?
Does my body type look like a hiking body?
Okay, I'm not. Listen. I'm not trying to.
Are you fat shaming me?
This isn't a humiliation ritual. I'm just asking. Do you or have you ever hiked?
100%. I actually do like hiking.
I mean, do you really like hiking, or are you saying it like a girl on Tinder?
No, not a girl on Tinder.
You know, a lot of perilous things can happen while you're hiking. A lot of mysterious events can occur. In tonight's mystery, we'll be diving into a lesser-known hiking mystery known as the Khamar-Daban Incident.
Never heard of said incident. I thought you were going to say Bigfoot. I'll be like, fuck.
We just had a conversation about how we're not doing the big stuff yet. That'll be, we have to put those as a goal. Maybe we'll do Bigfoot
at like 500 or something. Or no, we're past 500.
We're past 500.
So maybe we break 1,000. That's the Bigfoot episode.
Bigfoot at 1,000. We'll do Bigfoot at 1,000.
Bigfoot at 1,000. 750, we'll talk about my big toe.
650, we'll talk about my big dick. The Khamar-Daban incident occurred on August 5th, 1993, when 6 hikers from Kazakhstan perished under mysterious circumstances during a trekking expedition in the Khamar-Daban mountain range, which is a popular hiking destination in southern Siberia, Russia.
I got it figured out.
You already know what happened?
My theory is Borat. Borat had taken them, and you'll never get this.
I don't think any country has taken more of like a public relations L than Kazakhstan.
I think it's not an L. I think it's a big W because of Borat, everybody's like, yo, Kazakhstan.
Oh yeah, I mean, can you imagine being like a Kazakhstan native and then just all like tourists coming off the plane with their Hawaiian, like a bunch of white guys with Hawaiian shirts, be like, my wife, like
very
this fucking
nice.
asshole. The hikers were part of a hiking club led by an experienced mountaineer, Ludmila Korovina. She was accompanied by 6 of her students, Alexander Sasha, I'm gonna butcher these names, by the way. Alexander Sasha Krisin, Tatiana Filipenko, Denis Shvachkin, Valentina Utochenko, Victoria Velisova, and Timur Bapanov. It's a group of 7. Only one made it out of the mountain range.
The fucking real world.
It's the Real Housewives, the real Kazakhstan hikers of Khamar-Daban. Where's that reality TV show? So the group began their journey on August 2nd, starting off from the village of Marino. They were one of 3 expeditions in the area. One of the others were actually being led by Korovina's daughter, Natalia. Now, the first 2 days of the hike went pretty well, and they followed these rivers up to the retranslator peak. So they had already gotten through the toughest part of the hike. They made it to the highest peak in the area. So then on August 4th, they began their descent, but they encountered an unexpected rainstorm. Korovina decided to set up camp on an exposed area on the mountainside, and the group tried but failed to start a fire that night. And then the next day things get pretty wacky. So the next day, Valentina Utochenko, the only survivor, recounted that the group was descending down the mountain at an altitude of 2,400 meters when Kristen, who was at the back, suddenly began screaming and showing severe symptoms such as bleeding from his eyes and ears and frothing at the mouth. He collapsed to the ground, convulsing before becoming still. Korovina rushed to assist him, but soon exhibited the same symptoms, convulsing and collapsing on top of Kristen. Filipenko, who reached Korovina first, also collapsed, clutching at her throat and bashing her head against a rock until she became unresponsive. Valisova and Bapanov attempted to flee, but they also collapsed, started vomiting blood, and began tearing at their clothes. Utochenko and Shvachkin tried to escape, but Shvachkin soon collapsed, convulsing as well.
God damn. Every time like one touched the other, they just fucking dropped.
Yeah, kind of seems that way. So Utochenko ran down the mountain and set up a tent for the night under the tree cover and fell asleep. The next day, she realized that she didn't have enough food and supplies to make it the rest of the journey. So she actually went back to the site of all her dead friends and retrieved their food and water. And then for the next 4 days, she followed power lines down the mountain. And eventually she lucked out and encountered a couple of Ukrainian kayakers on a river, and they took her to the nearest police station where a report was filed. Now, after this event, Utochenko, she went like completely catatonic. She wasn't speaking to anyone. She wasn't speaking to authorities for days. The official search effort led by Yuri Golias didn't start until August 24th, which is like 2 weeks after the event. And it took them 2 days to locate the bodies using helicopters. The bodies of the hikers were found partially undressed, with autopsies revealing bruised lungs. Kristen, Filipenko, Bapanov, Zalisova, and Shvachkin were concluded to have died from hypothermia, while Korovina suffered a heart attack. Here's a quote from one of the people that was on the search party. "The bodies were already swollen. Everyone's eye sockets were completely eaten away. Almost all of the victims were dressed in thin tights, while 3 were barefoot. The leader was lying on top of Alexandra."
Yo, that's fucking crazy.
Let's take a look at some of the theories. Theory number 1 is hypothermia. So this first explanation suggests that the hikers perished precisely as the autopsy report indicated, from hypothermia due to unforeseen weather and inadequate shelter on that night. I mean, obviously this is the theory that supports the autopsy reports. The autopsy reports indicate that they died of hypothermia. Some of the hikers were found, again, I watched the video, they weren't like naked, but some of them had like removed some layers of clothing, which if you're dying of hypothermia, that seems paradoxical. But there is this thing called paradoxical undressing, where people who are dying of hypothermia, in their last moments, they get like a rush of adrenaline and they start tearing their clothes off, because
they're probably like, oh shit, this is constricting, like I need to take this off.
And then the way hypothermia works, they don't, like six people wouldn't just drop dead within like a
right
15 meter. Yeah, like one person would go down and then other people would keep walking, like they would be separated by miles. It's worth noting that hypothermia is a really tricky cause of death to discern. What you would look for in a death by hypothermia would really only be present if you like literally got like frozen to death, like deep frozen.
Yeah. Encino Man.
Oh, I don't get that reference. I'll have to.
You've never seen Encino Man?
No, I've never seen Encino. It's a Brendan Fraser.
It's a Brendan Fraser when he was young.
Is this pre-whale or post-whale?
Pre-whale by a lot. Pauly Shore was popular. That's how you know it was pre-whale.
They should have brought Pauly Shore back and put him in the whale.
Hey, buddy.
I think you've had enough to eat, buddy. All right, theory number 2, infrasound. Infrasound refers to sound waves with frequencies below the lower limit of human hearing, typically below 20 hertz. These low-frequency sound waves can be produced by natural phenomena such as earthquakes, thunderstorms, ocean waves, or wind passing over mountains or through certain types of terrain. This theory suggests that the low-frequency sound waves, while not audible to the human ear, can have a significant psychological and physiological effect on humans.
So what you're telling me is the brown note. It's literally the brown note.
Basically, yeah. They died of the brown note. So infrasound, it's known to affect human emotions and cognitive functions, potentially causing panic attacks, extreme anxiety, hallucinations, which could all explain some of the hikers' reactions.
If you had like a crazy reaction, like the extreme anxiety, that makes sense that the one dude or the one person had a heart attack. But what explains the other ones? Did they check their pants for brown streaks? I'm telling you.
Well, that's what we need to get to That's what we need to figure out.
I think that's how Elvis got it. So,
No, I think you're thinking of Bob Marley.
oh shit, that's no pun intended.
Oh, so yeah, I thought I got this fun thing where we can listen to. So I have a tone generator where we can listen to.
Are you trying to kill us right now? Is that what your issue is? Are you trying
You're gonna
to
be
fucking
fine.
do
Shut
us
up.
in? This is just like when you're trying to give me a virus on my computer. Now I'm gonna fucking seizure out.
All right, can you hear that?
Oh yeah.
You hear that?
Oh,
Okay. All right.
fuck that.
So that's 440 hertz. That's kids play. You should be able to hear that. So that was 440. We're gonna bring it down to 100 hertz right now. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear that?
I sure can. Sounds like a vibrator.
Okay, you caught me. It's actually a vibrator. I pull up a rabbit. All right, now let's go down to 50. Can you hear that?
I sure can. Dude, my headphones are pretty fucking good, man.
All right, so now we're going to bring it down to 20 hertz. This is the lower limit of human hearing.
You can damage your hearing.
Don't worry
or
about
your
that.
speakers
You're fine.
If you
Stop.
play too
Quit
extreme
worrying.
volume.
You're fine.
Whoa, it's like it fucking like.
And I would say to anyone listening to the video, if you're having trouble hearing it, don't crank up the volume because you're getting hit with those signals just because you can't hear them. If you crank it up, then you can do damage, even though you can do damage to your ears, even if you can't hear it. All right, so that's 20
You should put
hertz.
a warning in here because if what somebody watches,
I just did put a warning.
it's
It's fine. What is the brown note?
Are you really trying to get people to shit their pants?
I don't know. Between 5 and 9
between
hertz.
5 and 9.
All right, let's do that. Let's do 5 hertz. Ladies and
I will
gentlemen,
be very bad.
the brown note. I'll tell you, I'm not hearing it.
Really? Dude, it sounds like a low-level helicopter going over my head.
Really? I mean, do you feel like this would make you go crazy and like start frothing at the mouth and tearing your eyes out?
Dude, if I heard this for an hour, I'd fucking go nuts, dude. Yeah. Go down. Can you go down to the website? I'm reading the warning. Tinnitus, frequency matching, and Alzheimer's disease.
Yeah, they say 40 hertz is supposed to help with Alzheimer's disease. You want to listen to that?
Yeah, hit it up. Let's go.
I can get down with this.
Sounds
Yeah, I'm remembering my grandkids' names already.
That's fucking a bad joke.
All right, that's enough of this segment. Theory number 3, contaminated water.
Okay.
So Lake Baikal, located nearby, is known for being a toxic waste dumping ground. If waste flowed downstream, the hikers could have ingested toxins in their drinking water. Some of these toxins might not have been detectable in a standard toxicology report.
I 100% have heard of this lake because of that.
In terms of like the historical precedents, we can take a look at the Mayak disaster. So the Mayak facility was set up by the Soviet Union after World War II to produce nuclear weapons grade plutonium, and they would often discard radioactive waste into nearby rivers and lakes, leading to severe contamination. And then eventually down the road, they had this like underground tank of liquid nuclear waste, and that like exploded and released just like a ton of nuclear contaminants into the air. It was the second worst incident of like nuclear contamination, second only to Chernobyl.
Fucking Russia, man, with like these nuclear disasters. They gotta figure out their handling.
So they have a history of doing this. And if you just like drank that, God only knows what kind of effect that could have on you. You gotta remember it's a 6-day hike. Like you can't bring 6 days of water with you. So you have to like source water there.
Thing about it is your piss is sterile, so you could always just pee in your mouth. How the fuck did they do it in Waterworld? They used like a coffee strainer.
What the Kevin Costner movie?
Yeah, they drink piss in that movie, bud.
I don't remember that far.
That's there.
I don't remember that part of the Universal Studios ride. All right, so theory number 4, mushroom poisoning.
Oh, they were trying to take mushrooms on their camping trip.
This theory posits that the hikers may have experienced hallucinations and fallen ill due to mushroom poisoning. An overdose of psilocybin can lead to psychosis, convulsions, cardiac arrest, and even coma.
Yeah, because you're only supposed to take the smallest a cap.
So Korovina she was like a known forager, and she was big on teaching her students to also like forage for themselves. So these mushrooms could have like caused this like mass panic amongst the hikers, and could be responsible for the hallucinations that Utochenko saw.
Wouldn't they have found that in the toxicology report though?
Well, that's the interesting thing. So mushrooms are notoriously hard to pin in a toxicology report because your body process them so quickly. They're kind of infamous because they don't show up on drug tests, whereas like weed would stay in your body for a much longer time. Mushrooms just go in and out. All right, now CJ, choose wisely. Of these mushrooms, 1 is edible and 3 are deadly. Can you pick which one is the non-lethal mushroom?
I would say the one that is, I don't know, this is a trap. I'm going to go to I would die probably. That's why I bring my own food.
You can't bring Uncrustables into the Khamar-Daban province, so you got to pick one of these mushrooms.
The one to the left, the yellow left one.
CJ, you decided to consume a jack-o'-lantern mushroom, which is one of the 4 deadliest mushrooms in existence.
There it is. That's it.
From left to right, that's the jack-o'-lantern. The next one over is the destroying angels mushroom, which is also deadly. The third one is called death caps, which is unsurprisingly also deadly. And the fourth is, I think it's pronounced chantrail, but that is an edible mushroom, so you can eat that.
Oh man, so I was right on the color, wrong on what it looks like.
Yeah, it turns out a lot of the deadly mushrooms are just like plain white.
Yeah,
which I would have gone with one of the white ones. I wouldn't go anywhere near any of the colored ones. Do not clip that. Theory number 5. Nerve agents. Symptoms described by Utochenko resemble those caused by nerve agents, particularly the frothing at the mouth and convulsions. Bruising the lungs can also indicate respiratory distress caused by nerve gas and cardiac arrest. Everything that Utochenko described, the frothing at the mouth, the convulsions, the bleeding of the eyes, like the deterioration of the soft tissue, that all coincides with being exposed to it like a nerve agent.
Holy shit.
Let's take a look at a particular strain of nerve gas called Novichok. So let's go back in time a little bit to 1990. In 1990, George H.W. Bush and Mikhail Gorbachev signed the bilateral U.S.-Soviet chemical weapons accord, agreeing to the destruction of chemical weapons.
We will sign a bilateral agreement that will, for the first time, eliminate the great majority of the chemical weapons that our countries have stockpiled over the years.
Then, in 1992, a Russian chemist responsible for developing Novichok published an article about Russia's continued development and testing of Novichok in clear violation of the 1990 Chemical Weapons Accord. Now, one of the things leaked in this article was the fact that one of the places that they would test Novichok was the Khamar-Daban mountain range.
Shit.
All this international pressure that was on Russia, I think that put pressure on them to like start disposing at least some of their nerve agents. And where else would you dispose them? You dispose them where you tested them, because it's like water phobic. When it rains or there was like wet air, I think that pushed it into the area where the hikers were.
That's fucking crazy.
The only thing that isn't explained is why it didn't affect Valentina. She's still alive. She does not like talking about this one bit. I think she's done like one interview aside from her police report. She's done one interview with a documentary.
Последний раз на ночевку встали. Ночью нас коровина разбудила, потому что был сильный ветер. 5-6 человек, мы как пушинки там летали. Но я видела, как первый упал Саша. У него пошла пена со рта и с носа кровь. И она вот рядом с ним коровина осталась. Она его пыталась вниз тоже стянуть, но он уже все, он посинел. Когда вот первый упал, уже началась паника. Там и убегали, и за камни прятались, и кто головой об камни бился, кто раздевался. У всех просто вот такие глаза были нечеловеческие, какая-то бешеность или что, не знаю. Получается, с Денисом последние оставались мы их пытались довести, спустить вниз, но это не получалось, потому что убегали, вырывались. И вот мы вдвоем еще как-то ползли по этим камням. Когда он стал падать, он меня уже вниз толкал, чтобы я уходила. А у него уже силы, видно, кончились. Может быть, так же рядом бы с ними и осталось, если бы не орал и не кричал.
Something killed these hikers that night, and we're gonna have to get to the bottom of it. So, CJ, which theory do you decide?
The hypothermia one, they succumbed to the elements. What I would want to know is like what's the temperature drop at night and how consistent is it? I feel like that's the cop out is hypothermia. Yep, it's hypothermia. You're good to go. So infrasound, maybe there was just something that pushed through the mountains that made that brown note. If it was long periods of time, of course you would go fucking nuts and go shining on people. The infrasound one, I wouldn't say is like the definite answer. The water, I would have to assume though that they would have been smart enough to boil the water, but even at boiling the water, if you're drinking toxic waste, I don't know how much boiling water is going to really do for you, huh? So that could be a good case. The mushroom poisoning, maybe 5 people were on point, but I would have to assume that the one person, she was probably eating the same stuff they were. Maybe she's just an old pro and has done shrooms in her time and just fucking weathered that trip. And then the last one, the nerve agents one, everything kind of like aligns up at the time frame, right? So you have this pressure of being like, yo, we're going to get rid of these sort of agents out of there. We don't want to start another world war because of this. Let's just fucking dump what we have and do it where we started to produce it because we want to get rid of it. And the only thing is the one survivor not getting the gas, but that could also be like the luckiness behind where maybe she was standing. So I want to say I'd lean towards 5 as of now. So, West, if I'm sure of something, you always have one thing that you didn't mention. What's the one thing that we might be missing?
Let's take a look at the Salisbury poisonings.
Like Salisbury steak? That shit's good.
Yeah, well, this is a little bit different. So in March of 2018, Sergei Skripal, a former Russian military intelligence officer who defected to the UK, and his daughter, Yulia Skripal, were found unconscious on a public park bench in Salisbury, UK. It was later determined that they had been poisoned with a Novichok nerve agent. The nerve agent was reportedly applied to the handle of Sergei Skripal's front door. The Skripals were critically ill, but eventually recovered after intensive medical treatment. And then it's also worth reporting that in 2020, a political adversary of Vladimir Putin, Alexei Navalny, also suffered a poisoning, which was later determined to be the Novichok agent. So that's 2018 and 2020, 2 instances of people being poisoned by Novichok. Both of them survived.
Because they were around people, though.
Yeah, so Russia claims that they stopped producing this in 1993, which is the year that this incident happened, by the way.
Holy shit.
But somebody still has Novichok, and they're using it to kill exclusively Russian enemies.
Enemies of the state, man. That's crazy talk.
Yeah. So the Novichok's still out there. Well, it's a terrible thing that happened to these hikers. It's great to go out and enjoy nature,
hike in the woods.
Yeah, but you gotta. There are dangers out there, even if they didn't encounter a nerve agent or contaminated water or poisonous shrooms. If you don't know what you're doing, it's very easy to get yourself killed, especially if you're days away from civilization.
So just make sure you're not hiking in the woods of Russia, and you'll be all right.
I think that's the moral of the story. Just stay the fuck out of Russia.
There's a lot of shit going on right now.
There's a lot of shit happening over there. I would stay away. I stay away from all that shit. Any stand, all the stands, stay away from it. The beat, even the K-pop stands, stay away from them too, because those ladies are fucking crazy.